Alrighty, hey again everyone. We're back yet again today with some more Minecraft. Last time we got like most of the storage room put together. I got enough of it to actually be happy, so I'm not gonna put the rest together for a while because we need more item frames, and those take a while to get. So I don't want to do nothing with them. But yeah, just taking a quick peek out here, as you can see, we've got all of our wood stuff out here. We got all of our valuables, our plants, and our like dirts and our stones. And we got basically freaking everything. So we're doing pretty good. And today we're just gonna kind of keep things simple, you know. We're just gonna go ahead and go throw these chests somewhere. That doesn't matter. And we're just gonna go mine and just do pretty simple things for right now because that's what I feel like doing, damn it. So that's what we're gonna do. And we'll just throw these in here. Who cares about these? We got a bunch of non-stackable weirdo things we gotta put away. Other things, dyes, which those need to be built out in a whole section, and then wool, and then that's it. And then we're done. So not my problem for right now, though. What is my problem is if I want to go mining, I kind of need a couple more torches. So let's go ahead and actually go ahead and get some. Or make some, rather. Luckily, we overdid it a bit on sticks, so we've got a couple extra stacks of them. That should be fine. Technically, I should have grabbed more than that, but we can, you know, we can pop on over and go fix that real quick. There we go. 7 by 4, 28. Yeah, that should be okay. That should be plenty. So we'll grab all of that, and then we'll pop on up here and grab some of our coal blocks. Look how nice and simple all this is. Isn't this great? And let's see here. We're going to go ahead and make many torches as we can. And we're basically just trying to fill up this box. So let's go ahead and make a couple more. There we go. Alright, there we go. So that should make enough torches for now. Probably. It's like 50-50, you know. Might not have enough. And let's see here. Crafting table, right. We'll go ahead and pop a crafting table here. That's what I feel like doing. There we go. And nice and easy, we can just put everything back. And it was truly that simple the whole time. Cool, so it comes with us. That's all a bunch of shit that I've yet to sort that I don't really care about because it's all like function blocks that like are kind of annoying to deal with, but I'll do something with them at some point. And otherwise, we can leave. Look how much easier that is compared to our old storage system where like, yeah, we had some kind of grouping, but it was going off of like muscle memory, and that's not good long term. So, don't want to do that forever. Yeah, kind of today's stream is titled, right? We're going to be doing some mining and some farming, just a little bit. I kind of want to take all this down and move it, maybe not today, but I want to actually build out some better farming stuff in the back here and maybe start some stuff out in the front. And then I want to make a better tunnel here that'll go through because we have our tunnel that goes to the outside, and I also want to make a better bridge that comes out here too at some point because I feel like I'm overdue for that as well. Also think I'm still in range of the haste beacons. Yeah, I am, so I can actually like dig out this tunnel properly. But yeah, we've got this big ugly cobblestone bridge that I never really like finished, so gonna need to do something about that. Probably build like a diagonal bridge or something going across. That's for later me to figure out because I don't really care right now. So yeah. But otherwise, we're just gonna go mining and kind of keep things chill. We got a good old lava farm down here because we can. Feel like I should move this one of these days too, but maybe not for a while, so who knows. But for now, we'll just head down to the bottom of the world and actually go do some stuff. We also want to make sure we're in the water here fairly regularly, because if we hit the bottom and die, I'm not going to be very happy because that's such a stupid ass way to die, so not cool if that happens. But yeah, maybe I could actually go take on this Deep Dark again. It's been so long since I've been down here, I haven't even like fully explored everything. Plus, we still got a crap ton of amethyst that we gotta go through one of these days, so. And I'm taking that out. And we got a billion torches, so surely it'll be okay. Oh, that's right, we're in range of the beacon down here. So we have haste and speed and resistance and regen. We got everything under the sun down here. That's interesting. Okay, I just uncrouched. I didn't do anything. Also, my hoe is not in my inventory. A little worrying. We're just gonna... Yeah, that's not my problem anymore. Hmm. Let's see, let's get our ender chest out. Get some of our tools. Fortune hoe's gotta be in here. That's the one I usually use. Yeah, here we go. So I did keep it in here. Then we got all of our spare supplies and all that kind of good stuff in case we need it. Because you never know. Oh, it looks like we had extra torches and coal the whole time. Whoops. Ah, I'm sure that's fine. Of course, we got a couple backup pickaxes and tools and things like that. This needed to have Look at the Sea on it at some point. Ah, I'm sure it's fine. Who cares? Alright, let's go ahead and get that put away. And we got our Silk Touch pick. There we go. And I don't know. I mean, I think I'm just going to go mine for diamonds if I can be real. I mean, we used up a decent chunk of them last time, just actually building up the base, so it could be good to just go get more. But we don't even really need them either, it's kind of a whole other thing. How the hell do we get out of here? I think it's the giant wool pillar. Yeah, that would make sense, wouldn't it? I think I can instant mine tough. Yeah, that's right. Forgot I could do that. I also forgot that this place is a little dangerous. I'm sure it's fine. And I mean, I could go strip mining, but, kind of depends how we're feeling on that, honestly. I could dig out a proper tunnel to the trial chamber, that could be nice too. We do have one of those nearby. We may focus more on building up on the surface, honestly. Because maybe it's time I start building stuff on that plateau. I haven't done anything with it for so long. Yeah, how about we do that? We'll mine out this little chunk of deep slate that we're working through just to kind of make this room a little bit bigger because we can do that. We have free will. And otherwise, we'll go build or something. Or at least terraform or do something kind of cool. I don't want to keep doing storage stuff forever. Oh yeah, it doesn't matter if we silk touch this stuff now or not, because we can turn it directly into its cobbled variants and a stone cutter. So why don't we go ahead and actually get a little bit of it? Just a spoonful though. Oh, okay. Well, we got diamonds, I guess. Guess these were sitting here the whole time. Alright, that's probably enough silk touch, nobody cares. I just needed enough to be able to get everything done there. Or at least to be able to mark out the rest of the deep slate area and the storage area. But now that we got it, it don't matter. Oh, more diamonds. Cool. Wow, so it was this easy the whole time. That would be nice to know. We are out of space. Okay. Probably should have thought about that bit. That's okay. We've got like a, no empty shulker boxes. Nope, we've got one somehow. I need to really switch out some of that stuff in there one of these days. And let's see here. Let's go ahead and just throw everything away because it won't matter. There we go. And let's get some torches out. Hey, we got 8 diamonds from 3. That's pretty good. I don't really want to use like an auto miner for this stuff either. Talked about it in the past, but it's been a long time. But I don't know, TNT duping seems kind of lame, and I don't farm enough sand by hand to warrant using TNT, and I don't also farm enough gunpowder at the moment to warrant using it on TNT instead of like fireworks or something. More diamonds, damn, where was this early game? But, you know. Try that ender chest is still there. But yeah, I mean, it's just kind of, not that it's like cheating or anything like that, but I don't know, it's just, it's a little bit too strong for my liking. And, you know, I feel like everybody after a certain point does like the really big, like, you know, like, exploitative, like, perimeters that, there's nothing wrong with them or anything, but I honestly don't have much of a perimeter I want to build with that stuff to begin with, except for digging out this hole. So I guess that would count, but I would rather dig out the hole myself, because I can do that. Should I? No, but I can. One day, probably. Probably die of old age before that actually happens, but yeah, you never know. Could. But also, Deep Slate is so, like, damn tough to get through as well that it's kind of an issue. And I'd rather try and creatively solve these things a little better. Like, I'll probably try to do moss mining or something. We'll see how effective that can really be, because maybe I could, like, map out the circle, like, by hand, right, that I want to do, like that stacked, like, tier design that I've been talking about a long time ago, but I can map that out by hand to get, like, the shape of it done, and then all I have to do is kind of just plant a thing of moss, bone meal it, dig down, and you're basically just digging out like these large like columns of moss going all the way down. And you can insta-mine all that stuff with, you know, just a hoe, so you don't have to rely on a beacon, and then, you know, it works out pretty well. Or at least on the deep slate layers, because like the stone layers I'll mine out like by hand, so I don't have an issue with that. Also, more diamonds, damn. Like the stone layers I'll mine out by hand because I'll have haste, and that's not too big of an issue for me. But it's the everything else that would take a little bit too long. But I'd have to look into doing something different. But it's fine. Let's see here. We got one more layer we can carve out. We are also full again. There's diamonds in there. I'm gonna keep it a $1.50. I'm gonna go pick up that deep slate diamond ore and go mine it instead of keeping it as a silk touch. And it's totally not because I don't want to expand the storage system or reorganize anything in there. Nope, not at all. Don't know what you're talking about. Anyways, we got that done, and we're chipping away the rest of this, so we should be good here in a moment. There we go. Alright, cool. That's enough mining for right now. And, you know, we got obsidian down here if we need it, but I don't think I'll be using it down here. If anything, if I need obsidian, I'll go to the the Wither Rose farm that's in the end that I developed. That I'll probably just do stuff there instead. It's easier. Well, not that it's easier, but I get more stuff out of it, you know. Also, we need to really like put away all this extra cobblestone and go touch back up on some empty boxes because we are long overdue. Super long overdue. But we'll be able to see the storage system in action from this, so that'll be nice. And it's time to do more like Minecrafty things again too for a while. You know, we've done enough base things with like that donut slash cloud, and just in general we've had a lot of time to kind of work through a lot of these things. I don't know where I would fit an inner chest in a lot of these. I guess in a corner. I guess that makes the most sense. We'll start with this. Let's see. We'll do cobblestone, but yeah, I want to do more Minecrafty things again because I feel like it's been just a little too long since I've really just sat down and like done stupid things or just built for the sake of building and not necessarily like, oh, everything. Oh, I did have empty ones. Like everything, like a spectacle, you know? Everything has to be super well built. And it should have been on the other side. Okay, well, that's annoying. That's alright though. Easy enough of a fix. And that keeps all of our other stuff intact. And let's go grab the rest of them. Here we go. Look how easy that is to sort. Like how easy it's about to be when we sort all this stuff out too. Cobbled deep slate is over there. Here we go, we got that. That's done. But yeah, we'll do... I don't really want to build buildings today, I'm not gonna lie. So I'll probably just do something else instead. I can tell you what that something else is right now, but you know, we'll figure it out. Should be fine. And let's see here, deep slate. Right, I don't have deep slate. Like you just use deep slate for cobbled deep slate on the variants. It's not used for anything else, so it's going right there. Yeah, that makes sense. We'll go with that. I'll also leave it in there too, because everything else can be sorted away and dealt with, but not that stuff. So let's see. We got some tough. There we go. That's easy. Cobbled deep slate. All right, and everything else is put away. Look how easy that was. No time at all. Go ahead and craft these up into blocks as best we can. That can go in here, like so, and the rest of these can stay out, and those can stay there. Okay. And then we have obsidian here. Go put this away. Alright, cool. Alright, then we get some diamond related stuff. There we go. Let's also just consolidate this down as best we can. go. And nice and simple. It's that easy. So technically, again, could have deep slate diamond ore, or vice versa if I'm gonna keep with like that pattern that we got going on. Um, these aren't really gonna have deep slate variants, so I'll probably axe those, and then same deal for lapis. It can, go all the way up if it needs to. So we do have a contingency if we need to do that, but hopefully it never comes to that. And if it inevitably does, and whatever, we take 2 minutes to move things around. I just don't want to do that today. Alright, we also had a separate obsidian box in here, apparently. Forgot about that. These enchanted books should have been, right, these were tied to trident and mace related things, because we have a good trident. Let's see here. So impaling, channeling, loyalty, breaking 3, mending, riptide, breaking 3, mending. And then the channeling one should be its own, like, one as well. So we'll need, like, duplicates of those books with, like, impaling, loyalty, breaking 3, mending, and channeling. And then we've got the mace as well. That'll have to exist at some point. If I can get a damn heavy core, that is, because they are kind of a pain in the ass to go find, so not cool. Then otherwise, it's just kind of our leftovers that we don't really care about. We got a couple of empty boxes. We can go grab a few more. Should be on a second floor, if I'm not mistaken, with all the mod drops. Yep, it is. So we'll go take 6 of these. I think that'll be fine. We'll keep one of them on hand, and then we'll put the others away down here at the bottom line. Because we can do that. There we go. Put that there. And that looks good. Cool. Alright, well, I'm trying to think. We want to do farming stuff down below. We should probably grab some crops. I feel like that would be a good idea. So let's grab some carrots, let's grab some potatoes, let's grab some wheat seeds, beetroot, what little beetroot we do have, because we'll need to kickstart that. Bone blocks, yeah. And I guess we could also take some of the flowers with us or grow some mushrooms. But we kind of want it to be a one-stop shop for everything you can grow, even if it's like, we're gonna have like our sugarcane farm that's already automated, so it's gonna be more like decorative sugarcane, right? We're not actually gonna really focus on harvesting it or anything like that. Except for the crops, though, those are a little different because I kind of need a space to grow more of them, frankly. So that's kind of its own thing. Flowers, they're, nobody, decoration, nobody cares. Giant mushrooms, we can make a couple spots for them, kind of make like a root forest, mushroom forest kind of deal. Animals, we'll grow and raise all the different types of animals that we can get their meat from. That's not relevant. And same deal, we'll have separate sections for like the berries and the melons and all that stuff. So, yeah, that's what we'll go for. Let's go ahead and pop on out of here. Let's actually go the correct way this time. And yeah, basically everything up here is what we're looking to mess with. Ow. Not cool. And yeah, we are gonna be moving all of these guys out up into here at some point, but we do kind of need to do some stuff first. So let's see if we can get this figured out, how we want to go about this. I think what we'll do is we'll place all of our shulker boxes down with all of our stuff in them for the time being, just so we kind of get these out of the way. And then I think we want to focus on flattening out a decent chunk of all this stuff. Also get some water and torches too. And we're just gonna dig. Shouldn't be nothing too hard, we'll just dig, we'll get silk touch, right? Yep. So we're gonna go ahead and just use our silk touch shovel to just kind of flatten out a ton of this stuff, make this plateau flatter. We'll use some water to get rid of a lot of the grass and flowers so we have a nice flat area. And then we can kind of add back in like terrain later as needed, things like that. But for the most part, we want to prioritize having some nice flat grass for actually farming and doing things with. So, would be good. But for like a mound like this, for example, we're not gonna like flatten this out. We're not completely like down to like the same level because it feels like it would be kind of a waste and kind of silly. But we'll kind of go up to like a point. Yeah, we'll do like something like this. And then what we can do is we can fill all of this in, and then we're pretty much good. I wonder if those would be in range for me to load. I don't know. Maybe that's something we should do today too, is have all of them connected up to a central switch and like label it, because I feel like that's overdue too. And it's something pretty easy, albeit ugly, that we can set up. That's gonna flow like right into the cow pen or something stupid. Yep. Luckily, they probably won't swim out. I hope. That would kind of stink. I don't think they'll be able to make it out, but I'm sure it's fine. I don't think I can like make a brush fire either, unfortunately. So I kind of do just have to sit here and water everything out. It's a little annoying, but I get it. I also don't need to really salvage any of the seeds or the wildflowers or anything like that. We'll just leave them to rot because they kind of don't do anything. We have too many of them as it is, so more so the wildflowers. I really don't care about those. Decent little flat area for now. To make sure to sleep though, because I'm not gonna spend any time relighting any of this, because we're just gonna flush it away. probably sleep before we start getting spawns. Undisclosed cave. Fuck, that's annoying. That's a bunch of cave lighting. No sense fighting it. It is what it is. Maybe if I'm lucky, I missed a bunch of stuff. Maybe. Definitely looks like it did. Certainly feels like it. Well, that's good at least. Alright, let's seal this off. We don't need to do anything down here. I'm not even gonna bother with that. It's not worth it. Alright, cool. Back to water. We need to do something with this too. I think I'll make some kind of body of water here, but that has yet to be fully seen. But it would probably be a good idea to have some more water instead of everything being, flat grass, right? Yeah, we'll leave this alone because this will be placed with water anyways if we're gonna make like an actual lake or something. But I'm sure they'll be fine. Build a little fake mine going into here because it would be kind of cool. Yeah, we got Dogbert. He's walking around. Oh man, we got so much we would have to go through. Oh, shit. Well, it's gonna be worth it in the end. Alright, this should be enough to get us started. We'll try and whittle out a little bit more here. Maybe patch this up a bit too, kind of do some of this area, but for the most part, it should be enough space to start on something. And we'll kind of expand outward as time goes on, but that takes time. Alright, hang on now. There we go. Should definitely be enough space to get us started. That out. There we go. Cool. Alright. So we got some nice flat bits going up everywhere. I don't need to make everything like one single flat grass layer or nothing like that, because then that looks kind of cursed, but we can always try to smoothen out some of these sharper edges a little bit, like so. Try to have this be a little bit more, yeah, you can kind of see how there's not a gradient, I guess, but like a nicer curve going into a lot of these things. And luckily it's not too hard to do any of this because you're just chipping away like a couple of blocks to this stuff kind of smoothen out a little bit, you know? It's not too bad. But yeah, basically we smoothen out a decent chunk of these edges here. Looks a little bit better. Maybe expand it out in a couple spots where it needs it, but otherwise we can kind of just let it be. Do a little something like that. Out of grass for the moment, but that's okay. Just keep doing stuff like that. There we go. There we go. Okay. Let's go take a look at this from above. Let's also burn half of this because this is clogging up my inventory. I don't much appreciate it. Here we go. Alright, let's see how this looks. And yeah, I gotta say, it's a pretty good shape. Basically, anywhere that doesn't have flowers is what we've been working on. And yeah, it's pretty good. Can't go too wrong with it. We definitely got like a nice flat area we can build on, and then we can kind of just fill in the blanks as we go through and do everything. And then it kind of gets a little steep, so then that would be about here would be a good spot to like terrace it or like reinforce like the cliff face. So you have like a flat slope, you have a flat bit that slopes down slightly, and then you've got either like a sharp cut or maybe a path that'll cut through in a couple spots, but basically then you would have like the next like flat bit. So you've got a raised flat bit, sharp drop, second flat bit, and then that gives you more room for farming and actually like growing different things. So you can have different sections. So maybe like up by the maybe up by like the houses, because if I were to build houses anywhere, it would be up here where it's a lot closer to what's happening here. But up by the houses, you'd have like your nicer like actual farms. Things are quiet, things are peaceful, maybe a couple bees, but that's about it animal wise. And then you go down into the fields, and then you've got much larger non-decorative like wheat fields with like larger pastures for like cows and sheep and chickens and rabbits and everything else you can think of. So at least that's the idea for right now. I think I could do it, but we'll have to see about that. And I guess the other thing though is what now? Because I don't know. Because maybe I should actually, if I'm gonna have houses and buildings up here, more decorative kind of farms, then maybe I should do this as well, because this is where the actual like big farming is gonna go. And also because I kind of just want to get all this done and out of the way, like in full, so I don't have to keep doing this every couple of days as I want to expand. I don't know. I like having all the pieces to a lot of things before I really start doing things, and it's tough because I can't do that with everything. Sometimes you just don't get all the pieces, and you do just need to like start, and then you kind of get more information as you go along. And I don't know. It's rough to see things differently in that way. Like, you don't want to do a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle, right, without knowing that all the pieces are there and that you can put the whole thing together, because then it's just a matter of time. But if you get 100 pieces here and another 50 there, and you found another 300 couch cushions or something like that, and it's been like months, then like, yeah, you'll still finish it at the end of the day, but it's, I guess, more stressful and it's harder to know what's there and what isn't, because all the pieces eventually do make the full picture, but at the time that you're getting them, they may or may not be related to each other. They could just be, they could be like clustered together and make some kind of sense together in a small group. They could be completely random and nothing truly makes any kind of sense. I mean, I don't know, it's kind of rough, but for something like this where I can actually do something about it, I would like to try and keep these things together. I would also like to patch up more of these caves. I'm gonna actually head back to my base and go grab that shulker box of dirt, because we kind of need that right now. Here we go. Well, at least it's a quick firework over, if nothing else. And dirt. Here we go. Good old dirt. We'll just grab a whole shulker box. Should be fine. And that's it. It was a quick pop over to go get some, and we got it. So, pretty good. We'll grab 3 stacks. That should be enough to help fill in some of these holes. Oh, hmm. That's not cool. Did you die? Oh, Monkey's paw has curled, for he has died, but died in a way that is annoying. That's okay. Turn on hitboxes so we can see here a little bit. This is also why I made like a bajillion torches, because I know things like this are gonna pop up as we're doing this kind of work, and I want to just be able to spam torches and not worry about conserving it. Because we definitely have the coal, we got the sticks, so we should just be able to make a crap ton of lighting and just not ever worry about this again. But, sometimes that changes. Alright, let's go ahead and get the hell out of here. There. That's all lit up. Good. Alright. And boom, there we go. It's like you would never know it's there once the, reference comes back. That's fine. And yeah, this stuff looks like it's gonna go down quite far. I don't think I want to go in. I guess I can go as far as the forest, but I don't really want to go any deeper into that because then we start getting so. And also, then it's like physically too far away from a lot of my stuff. So then it's kind of like, why would I want to go that far out to go get something like that? I still want to keep some things in range, at least a little. And it's only 7:45. Hooray! Oh, that's we already made it here, more or less. That's good. Probably turn hitboxes off since we don't really need to do anything with right now. Here we go. And right back on they go. Luckily it was just a side cave, it looks like, so. Looks like this got washed out a little bit. Should be fine. Um, yep, there we go. Okay. I think I see it. Wow, I kind of nailed that. Okay, that's good. This is back up one of the original ones that I had, so I'll have to break up into the roof a little bit here. Yeah, because there's that emerald ore I didn't care about. And let's also fill our torches, because we can do that. There we go. And right back up we go. Now we should be able to seal this off just fine. Go. Oh, we've got a creeper just hanging out around here for some reason. I can't be good. Looks like our water made it all the way back down into here. That's why. Also need to go refill on dirt because we're kind of out again. Oh, we're getting there. Already been almost an hour. Alright, we're almost done clearing out all this stuff. Or at least I really hope we are, because I do want to actually, build and do literally anything. But, of course, one of these nights we'll have to come back through and relight everything once we get all these flowers out of here. Kind of hope that one day Java adds like what Bedrock has with bone mealing, like one block tall flowers, where like it'll grow more of that flower like in a nearby like patch of dirt, because you actually have to go out and build like a flower farm, a whole separate biome if you want to get them, and it's like you have to keep going back to that if you want it for decoration. So not very cool. I mean, not for Wither Roses, obviously, like they don't even have that for Bedrock either, but being able to get easier access to more different flowers would be good. Mainly so I could quit using poppies and everything. And then you actually get more different, that's gone. You get a variation of dyes and all that stuff. It's generally good things. Alright, well, we're coming up to the edge of the forest here, or at least on that end. So once we get to that area, then yeah, I mean, most of it should be carved out. Got some pigs still hanging around here, I guess. We'll throw out the gunpowder. It's 2 gunpowder. Who cares? There we go. Alright, and we'll get some more dirt. There we go. Another area. Cool. Hopefully this is all lit up already. We can leave like some of these flowers once we get over to this side. Far enough away, I don't really care. I doubt I'll ever come out this far, honestly. Well, maybe. I mean, it is a forest, so you never know. See, once we start getting the leaf litter, that's when it's like, okay, we're good, you know. Gone far enough. I don't know if that was a creeper hole or natural formation. I think it was natural, but I don't know. There we go, it's probably fine. There we go, much better. Flowers, not cool. They're a cool design block, but I don't know, they went through like a really weird phase where like, and maybe they're still going through it to some extent, where there's a bunch of like multi-stage blocks in the game that you can place down. So you know how like you can place like 1 to 4 seed pickles in a spot or candles. Like those were like weird kind of one-offs, but they were cool. And then they went kind of crazy with like the wildflowers and petals and leaf litter, and it was like those 3 things happened within like the span of a year or something. It was very odd, and they kind of clutter up the floor of everything. You know, they're cool for decoration, they're cool for ambience, don't get me wrong, but there are a hell of a lot of them. Few too many sometimes, it seems, especially leaf litter. It's, you know, flowers are flowers, you know, they're cool, they're flowers. You can't be mad at flowers, but dried leaves, I mean, uh, hmm, this feels bad. We should probably not die down here. We probably won't die. I would hope not, because if I die down here, it is 1,000,000% my fault. And it is on me at that. So let's not do that. What's the benefit to doing all this like terraforming and stuff is we can actually spawn proof better because we're forced to explore all these caves. So it does eventually work out at least, and this helps our hostile mod too over time because it'll make it run even better and we'll get even more things. That's always good. I should also install shulker box loaders for the mob farm at some point. I feel like that would be a good idea. Hell, what I should even do is I should figure out how to consolidate all the outputs from all 4 of the farms into just one output, and then just take all the golems and like have them consolidate there instead. I feel like that would be a better idea. Probably take a lot of hoppers again though, unless I had a better way to move my torch. Water? Well, the water stream might not be too bad of an idea. Get that guy out of the way. Okay, down he dies. So just had to get his one little hit in with some kind of I also don't much appreciate how much lighting I'm gonna have to do. There is a lot that we're gonna have to go through. And now that I hear bats, I know this is a bit of a larger cave, so that's great. Yep, we'll do now. We'll get rid of him. This goes all the way down to Deep Slate too. Man. There's a mine shaft down here. Alright, well there's a mine shaft down here, I guess. Cool. We're in deep here. We need to not be here. I'm getting sidetracked. I don't want to get sidetracked right now. It's just a damn mine shaft. Nothing here that we haven't already seen or dealt with before, you know? Fun part's gonna be getting out, but we should be able to do that fine enough, I guess. Hopefully. Also, because with it being this far down, I don't think it's gonna affect any of our rates either. It's literally too far below ground. So, you know, can't do a whole lot there. There's more cave in my cave. Come on, man. Oh, that looks back up to somewhere else I've already been, so that's good. So we should be pretty much set on this cave. More or less. Yeah, here's where I killed that skeleton creeper. Damn. Damn, come on. Uh-oh. Where's that other? From down there? Bastard. We have stumbled into a pretty large cave here. That's never good. Yeah, this is, I don't think I want this to be my problem right now. Like I said, getting sidetracked. What did I do? Got sidetracked again. So, ooh, what am I doing right now? That's right, getting sidetracked. Mainly because I'm looking for a way out here, which is kind of a dumb idea, because I don't think we're gonna find it. Not an aquifer. Got it. Again, this should be low enough down slash far enough away that I don't have to really care, hopefully. I would prefer not to. Yeah, you know what? We're just gonna dig up from here. I don't really care. I wanna. I can see literally nothing here. Oh, lucky. Alright. Still don't know where I am. We'll see if we can follow this up and out. It looks like we can. At least for a decent way. Yeah, there's some skylight. Perfect. Should also be careful because it is still dark out. We'll just pop our bed down here. Should be fine. It'll probably be fine. This trip to do, hopefully. I don't want to have to keep going caving or nothing. I feel like it would be a good idea to also dig out like a river or something going down the mountain. It gives us better access to water, and then that'll make it a little bit easier to grow crops near the riverbanks and all that stuff, and or at least be able to source the water to make our farms a little bit better. We'll probably do that. Alright, same deal. We are getting to the edge of the forest here, where all the leaf litter is, so that's our cue to knock it off and go literally any other direction and keep knocking out whatever else we can. And yeah, I mean, I feel like digging a river would be good here too. Is it something to do that's a little more destructive instead of having to just build? Because, I don't know, it's a lot easier to destroy than it is to create and all that, right? So, good to take a break sometimes and just do something a little mindless. Another opening, we have to go black up. And I didn't get any extra dirt. Dang. Alright, let's go get some more. I think I'm mainly going to focus my building to here as well for now. Simple. Alright, let's see here. Grab another 3 stacks of dirt. That should be plenty. And let's see if we can go find that cave opening again. Yep, don't know if we're gonna find it. I'm not gonna lie. I think it was down further. Can't be that far. Oh, I think I see it up there. Let's see if we're right. It looks like it. Good. We did find it. Alright. Oh, this should be an easy patch. Especially because it looks like we had already done all the lighting, so cause any issues. Actually, I'm immediately sidetracked doing something else. Let's try and get back on track here a bit. There we go. Okay. Yeah, it should be fine. Okay, I think we're finally good. Um, so when it comes to actually building said river, it's got to come from somewhere, you know. Got to have a body of water coming from somewhere, flowing through. So I guess our question should be, what's that starting point that we're looking for here? I think in real life, rivers can come from like snow melt and stuff like that, right? So, not that I would know, and I'm kind of being in Florida and we have no goddamn snow. But if we did, should come from melted snow, flow its way down the mountain into the river, then over millions of years it carves it out better and all that kind of deal. So, and I want a winding river. I don't want like path of least resistance where like yeah it could flow down into here and then it'll slope out and then it's gone. Like that's dumb. That is. I'm gonna assume that's a dog, and then there's no point of having a river if it just fucks off and leaves. You know, there's not right. So, and this would also make sense too for how we're getting water in that pond, right? So I think that's what we should be going for. Oh, it's the rabbits. That's what it is. That's what we should go for. Is snow melt coming out of the mountain. Could be a lot, could be a little. I don't know. We'll remember this time maybe that we have Instamine, which we are in beacon range. And we're just gonna do something really simple like this for right now. We're just gonna have a little bit of water flowing down. Do a little something like that. And then maybe a little more right here. Okay, it might have spread out of control a little bit. We're gonna black that up for now, and we're gonna follow this down and see how this goes. Yeah, this definitely just flowed out of control. Alright, not cool. Not a big fan of that. Cover this up with snow at some point. We'll probably forget about it since we don't come out this way too often. Same thing. I hear swooping. Did I hear phantoms? Am I losing it? Oh no. Felt like phantoms, but I don't see anything on the caption, so probably not. Okay. Let's try this again. See, that's much better. We'll go up to our regular bed and sleep, because we can do that. Also give us an excuse to fly up and look around at things a little bit more. Yeah, again, snow melt, have a little corner bit that doesn't have water coming out of it going into a pond, and then we're gonna force it to curve and kind of follow this curve and go around. So yeah, we'll have it go around a good bit, and then eventually it'll go down and out. I think that's fine. We still need to extend this up at some point too, by the way. I think I've forgotten because I have not. But it takes time. Let's also throw some of this crap out. We go so high up it actually despawns all the mobs down here too, so that's pretty good. Definitely appreciate that. Yeah, you know what? We'll do this first because this one's easy and at least we'll have something kind of nice to look at. Get this done. There. It's definitely taken up a good bit of time, but we are getting there. Shoot, that's annoying. Everything looks still, so that's good. Guess we could build this up just one more layer. That should be fine. Let's take out all of our extra dirt, though. Okay, well, guess we didn't need to do all that stuff with the dirt after all, but hey, what can you do? There we go. Got a nice little pond now, so yeah, again, some of the snowmelt comes down, feeds right into here, get a little something, and then the rest of it, we could try and route a little bit away from here. See if we can contain that. There we go. Perfect. We'll have to patch this up a little bit too, but basically we should be able to contain it to this area and then see if we can form a river by carving out the ground. It shouldn't be too hard. gonna do a little something like that. Let this down a bit. And it's sleeping time because stuff is starting to spawn. Make sure we got an adequately wide river. If not, that would not be particularly useful. Let's see how we want to do this. So, I don't know if I want, like, hmm. I feel like it could be cool to have, like, part of it divert back into the pond, like, about here or so. Because then we could have, like, this little strip of land that could be decorated in a cool way or have something unique about it, you know? Maybe that's where we grow the mushrooms or something because it acts as, like, a natural buffer against, like, mycelium or something like that, you know? Just something. But who knows? But if we do that, I do want this to go into like an actual waterfall. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna build up a bit of a cube here. And then we'll have like a small little bit of it drop off into here. There we go. There. Oh, he's gone. Dang, I was gonna go get him. Oh wow. So yeah, we got our river, expands out. Let's actually take some time to fly out above and see how this is looking. Yeah, it's a decently wide river. So again, we're gonna have it kind of curve up and follow that rim. Water doesn't exactly flow uphill though, I will say. So that's kind of another thing we may have to consider here as we're doing all of this, is we'll have it curve and then go down like a step or two. Yeah, like we'll have it curve up into here a little bit, and then it's gonna like it's gonna spill out around here, I feel, and kind of like cut down into this a little bit, and then flow onto this next step where it'll be caught, and then kind of flow its way back around. So you'll have like this strip of land that's in between like the river on both ends. That's pretty good for like farming and like building and stuff like that. And then you'll have the river kind of like wind through a little bit to leave some like nice open spaces for like cows and all the other animals and things like that. And then eventually, I think it's gonna find its way out and down through the forest a bit, down into the river down here. So at some point, it's gonna have to leave somewhere. And maybe that somewhere doesn't have to just be in one spot, but we should try to build this like it's just gonna be in one spot, and then we'll have it branch a little later. So we'll get it figured out. Also, get that out of the way. That feels like it's distracting a bit. We'll dig this out straight for a little while. And start turning this out. Alright, and then I think we'll go ahead and let some of the water out. Yep, so we'll go ahead and let that water out, and then we will fill up this path. And we'll throw some of these out, because we don't care about those. Here we go. So again, we'll have a little bit flow down into there, gives us a little bit of land to work with if we want to do anything cool. And then we can continue the rest of it going the way out. And we can always dig this to be deeper as well too. I tend to not make these too deep, but that might change with this one. We'll kind of just have to wait and see a bit. But I know adding depth is supposed to help with bodies of water doing this kind of stuff, so it doesn't just look like a canal. But I'm more concerned about the shape of it for right now. Not necessarily that it looks great or anything from actually, being a body of water, being deep, just more as the shape of it right. Does it flow in a good way? And if it does, then hey, that's all I wanted, right? There we go. So let's go ahead and do another flyby, see how we're doing. Looking pretty good. Can't really complain too much about it. It's got good shape. bed out again. I guess we can't sleep for a little while. And we'll go ahead and start that up. Probably get more fireworks and food at some point. So again, let's think about how we want to do this. Taking some of the grass that we've gotten so far, what I want to do is, don't know how flat I guess I want to leave this, or I want to do this without water. Well, no, there's enough space to have water in here. Yeah. Or if we want to do it down at another layer, I don't know, because again, it's only going down. So either only go flat, can only go down, can't go back up. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna terrace this stuff. So all we're gonna do is we're gonna make the edges a little sharper, stick out a little bit more, and then that's gonna give us more space to run a river through here without it looking too bad or nothing. Alright, there we go. And same deal, we're gonna loop that all around here. We can reinforce the walls with something, like we'll have like an outer edge, so that way it actually like looks good and it makes enough sense. Because otherwise it is pretty sharp, but that's kind of by design, so have some kind of bracing. Maybe we can run it down here. Yeah, we can have it kind of cut down and then eventually it can go into a waterfall or something here. Could be good. Well, something like that. There we go. Cool. Alright. Let's see here. want to eventually try and line it up with what we got going on here. That also means though that we're gonna have to fatten this out a good bit. Keep it simple and just do it in 2 block increments until it starts looking like too fat. Yeah, then we get a little flat area here, so I guess that would be fine. There we go. We'll trim away the corner. But in case it's not, Alright, we are pretty much there. Damn. Let's do a little something like that. Ah, it's probably fine. And let's go take yet another look. Looking pretty good. It gets a little thin, and I think we need to round this corner a little bit better. But it's a pretty easy fix, so here we go. Could actually just let it billow out a little bit more. I also think this was kind of a little thin. Alright, let's give this another look. Yeah, I think that's a little better. Cool. We need to pop up to our ender chest and go get some more fireworks, but you can kind of see the line this is going to take now, right? If we're just going to follow the coast more or less and then have it go out, then yeah, we'll have like a nice like bend there. So that'll be cool. Looks like both the bamboo farms fired off fairly recently because the bamboo is still just kind of sitting here. But maybe that's enough doing stuff for right now. It's been 2 hours, so kind of a little tired here. We'll go ahead and sleep and call it a day for right now. We'll keep doing more of the river in the near future. I'll probably stream again later today. Depends how I'm feeling, but we will kind of see what's happening. We'll go do one last look at it to go see how it's coming along. I think it's doing fine. I think also where it diverts, we need to change that up a little bit too. And I need to make some kind of observation tower probably here in this clearing that goes up high enough to see what's happening. My render distance is also down pretty low right now, so I say low, it's under 20, but yeah, we need to curve that out a little bit. And then otherwise, it's flowing pretty well, I would say. I don't have too many issues. Yeah, again, follow the bend. Eventually it'll find its way out. And then that gives us, assuming we kind of stick to like this outer edge, we'll have this nice flat area with a couple of like layers that'll go down. And then eventually it's going to turn down into here, where it'll turn into another set of waterfalls and go down into the river, and then we're pretty much free. So, yeah. So it's just a matter of digging out the rest, whenever we feel like it. Still want to do stuff up in here at some point. Be a good idea. Or at least create a way to get into it, but that's not for today me to figure out. With that being said, thank you all for watching, and I hope to see y'all again next time. Bye-bye!